Hey, amazing viewers! I love connecting with all of you from around the world. Stay with me until the end, because this story is packed with surprises that will leave you inspired and thinking differently. Today's twist is something no one saw coming. And if it's your first time here, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Show some love by liking the video, and don't forget to share it with your friends. The highway stretched endlessly before her, a ribbon of asphalt swallowed by the darkness. Officer Rachel Carter's patrol car was the only vehicle on this deserted road, its headlights cutting a lonely path through the night. The radio on her dashboard crackled with static, but there were no incoming calls, just eerie silence. Rachel exhaled, fingers drumming against the steering wheel. Something about nights like this always unsettled her. It wasn't just the quiet. It was the stillness, the way the world seemed to be holding its breath. Then, out of nowhere, a dark blur shot into the road. Rachel barely had time to react. She slammed on the brakes, tires shrieking as the patrol car skidded to a stop. Her heart pounded against her ribs. For a moment, all she could hear was the rush of her own breath. A dog stood in the middle of the road, illuminated by her headlights. A German shepherd. The animal didn't move, didn't flinch. It just stood there, staring at her with sharp amber eyes that seemed almost pleading. Rachel hesitated. A stray dog wouldn't act like this. Most would either bolt or cower, not hold their ground like they had a purpose. She grabbed her flashlight, pushing the door open with cautious curiosity. "Hey there, buddy," she called, keeping her voice calm. The dog barked once, a sharp, urgent sound, then took a few steps backward. Not running, leading. Rachel's gut twisted with instinct. Something was wrong. She knew better than to ignore it. Tightening her grip on the flashlight, she stepped forward. "All right, show me what you need me to see." With that, the German shepherd turned and darted into the woods, pausing only to make sure she followed. Rachel took one last glance at her idling patrol car. This wasn't in the handbook, but something told her this dog wasn't just lost. It was guiding her for a reason. And whatever that reason was, she had to find out. Rachel's boots crunched against the cold, damp earth as she followed the German shepherd into the thick woods. Her flashlight cut through the shadows, but the dense canopy above swallowed most of the moonlight. The deeper they went, the more the forest seemed to close in around her. A tangled mass of branches and leaves whispering in the wind. The dog, she decided to call him Titan, moved with unwavering purpose. He didn't hesitate, didn't second-guess. Every few feet, he would glance back at her, his glowing amber eyes filled with urgency, then push forward again. Rachel's pulse quickened. This wasn't just some stray leading her on a wild chase. This was a dog on a mission. Then, a sound. Faint, fragile. A whimper. Rachel froze, the hairs on the back of her neck rising. She swung her flashlight toward the noise, her breath hitching. Just a few yards ahead, tucked beneath the twisted roots of a fallen tree, sat a small figure. A little girl. Rachel's heart clenched. The child, no older than 10, was curled up, her thin arms wrapped tightly around herself. Her clothes were dirty, her hair tangled, and her face streaked with dried tears. The moment Titan barked, her head snapped up. For a split second, she was motionless, like she couldn't believe what she was seeing. Then, with a sob so raw it sent shivers through Rachel's spine, the girl lurched forward and collapsed into Titan's thick fur. Titan. She choked, her small fingers tangling into the dog's coat as if she was afraid he'd disappear again. Rachel swallowed hard, lowering herself to the child's level. "Hey there, sweetheart. My name is Rachel. You're safe now." The girl didn't answer. She just clung to Titan, her tiny body trembling. Rachel's voice softened. "Can you tell me your name?" A shaky breath. Then, in a voice barely above a whisper, she murmured, "Emma." Rachel gave her a reassuring smile. "Emma, I'm so glad we found you. Are you hurt?" Emma shook her head, but the fear in her eyes was still raw, still fresh. Rachel's heart squeezed. "Are you out here alone?" Emma sucked in a breath. Her lips quivered. My dad. He fell. He told me to stay back. And then Titan. He pushed me away. I got lost." Rachel's stomach dropped. So that was it. Titan hadn't just found her. He had protected her, kept her away from whatever had happened to her father. And now he wanted Rachel to find him. Rachel reached for her radio, pressing the button with steady hands. "Dispatch, this is Officer Carter. I've located the missing child, approximately 10 years old, name Emma Brooks. She appears unharmed but reports that her father is injured somewhere in the woods. Requesting immediate backup for search and rescue." Static crackled before a firm voice responded. "Copy that, Carter. Rescue team en route. Stay put." Rachel exhaled, then turned to Emma. "The rescue team is coming. They're going to help." Emma's wide eyes met hers, filled with something that made Rachel's chest ache, hope mixed with fear. "But my dad," Emma whispered, her small fingers curling into Titan's fur. "We have to find him." Rachel hesitated. The smart thing would be to wait for backup. But she wasn't about to look a terrified little girl in the eye and tell her they had to sit still while her father could be dying somewhere in the dark. Titan whined, then suddenly bolted forward, nose to the ground, moving with the same unshakable purpose as before. Rachel made her decision. She turned to Emma, her voice steady. "Titan knows the way. Are you ready?" Emma wiped her eyes and nodded. Rachel tightened her grip on the flashlight. "Then let's bring your dad home." Together, they ran into the night. Rachel pushed forward, her breath coming in sharp bursts. The forest seemed darker, heavier, as if the trees themselves were holding their breath. Titan moved ahead with laser focus, his paws barely making a sound on the damp earth. Then, a sound. Faint, weak, a groan carried by the wind. Rachel's heart slammed against her ribs. She swung her flashlight in the direction of the noise. There, just beyond a steep drop, tangled in fallen branches and half buried beneath leaves, lay a man. His leg was pinned beneath a boulder, his face pale as death. For a terrifying moment, Rachel thought they were too late. Then, "Dad!" Emma's scream cut through the night, raw and desperate. The man's eyes fluttered open at the sound of her voice. His lips parted weakly. "Emma." Rachel caught the little girl before she could throw herself forward. "Wait," she said gently but firmly. "He's hurt. Let's be careful." Titan, however, didn't wait. The dog bolted down the slope, sliding slightly on the loose dirt before pressing his nose against his owner's chest, whining frantically. The man, Daniel Brooks, let out a shaky breath. "Titan." Rachel wasted no time. She pressed her radio. "Dispatch, I have eyes on the missing person. Severe leg injury. He's trapped under a boulder. Requesting immediate rescue assistance." "Copy that, Carter. Rescue team is 3 minutes out." 3 minutes. It wasn't long. But in moments like this, it felt like an eternity. Rachel knelt beside Daniel, assessing his injuries. His breathing was weak but steady, his skin cold to the touch. He had been out here for hours, fighting against the night, against the pain. But now he wasn't alone. Emma knelt beside Titan, gripping her father's hand. "Daddy, you're gonna be okay." A weak smile ghosted across Daniel's lips. "You found me." "No," Emma whispered, her eyes shining with tears. "Titan found you." Rachel felt something tighten in her throat. The bond between this dog and his family. It was unbreakable. And then, the distant sound of sirens, flashlights breaking through the trees. The rescue team had arrived. Rachel stepped back as the paramedics swarmed in, quickly assessing Daniel's injuries and working to free his trapped leg. Emma refused to leave his side, her small hand gripping his, her other buried in Titan's fur. Minutes later, as Daniel was lifted onto the stretcher, He turned his tired eyes to Rachel. "Thank you," he murmured. "But most of all, thank him." He looked down at Titan, whose eyes never left him. He never gave up. Rachel smiled, kneeling to rub the dog's head. He knew what mattered most. As they carried Daniel toward the ambulance, Emma turned to Rachel. "Will my dad be okay?" Rachel nodded. "He's going to be just fine." Emma exhaled a breath she had been holding for too long, then hugged Titan tightly. "You saved us." And in that moment, Rachel realized something. It wasn't just about survival. It was about love, about loyalty, about the kind of bond that couldn't be broken by fear or distance, or even the darkest of nights. Titan hadn't just saved a life. He had never stopped believing. And in the end, that's what brought them home.